Welcome back. I am Rudy Knapp, and this is my podcast, Legacy Building a Kingdom. Today, we're going to build a kingdom by building on our last few topics of core values and confidence in yourself. We're going to talk a little bit about gratitude and appreciation and time. Came across a few conversations I've had in the last week, and I think that after talking about them, I thought this was a good way to segue from what I've been discussing on this podcast to what is important, mostly important in life. Um, and as we talked a little bit about our core values, and we talked about how gratitude might be one of your core values, one of my core values, we should always make sure that we're going to go forward and have this feeling, this emotion of gratitude towards what we actually have in our lives. So, in order to build your kingdom, you have to be grateful for your kingdom. You have to be grateful for those in your kingdom, the experiences you have. And again, we talked a little bit about how if you had something horrible happen in your life, how do you take the positive from that? So, our way of thinking is going to be important for us, but just the concept of focusing on the positive, finding a positive in the negative. We have negatives all the time. We have bad things that happen all the time, but how do we find that positive? So again, gratitude is an emotion. It's a feeling of thankfulness for something received, whether it's knowledge or you get a physical gift. To have gratitude means to lead to an increase in your happiness, your well-being, your building stronger relationships. The concept of gratitude is something that you have inside you, this emotion. But appreciation is a concept that involves recognizing that and the values and the worth of something or someone. So you have appreciation with someone because you express it in a way in which you show that gratitude. Remember, emotion of thankfulness. So in order to show that emotion that you have, you're going to give appreciation to other people. One of the things, if you've ever talked to me, you hear me say it all the time. I appreciate you. I appreciate that because it's a sign of respect for someone else to talk about that your emotion inside, your gratitude inside is coming out by expressing it in words, also in actions and even behavior. I know as a person and anyone that's been close to me or in a relationship with me, they have found that I am someone that will express my actions, my appreciation with an action, I should say. Small things. I believe small things are important. Big things are great. That's awesome. I would say that the small things are really, really important when it comes to appreciating the person that you're with or the friendship that you're in or the family member that has done something great for you, but showing appreciation. And how do you do that? Well, it could be buying a cup of coffee. It could be getting them their favorite little treat. It could be listening and paying attention to your partner and understanding what they actually like or what they need and providing it without them asking. Those things go a long way. They go a long way in relationships. They go a long way with friendships. They go a long way with your family members. And so support is one of the most important things when it comes to gratitude. Understanding that you have this emotion of thankfulness because of the people in your life. It's the people you can rely on, the family members, the friends, the really close people to you that you can go to and get advice from to give you a real understanding of what you need. And sometimes it's not so nice. And sometimes, like me, I'm pretty aggressive or I'm pretty straightforward when it comes to how I feel about something. And sometimes when you come to a friend, you need someone like that in your life. You need someone that's going to tell you straight how it is because they care about you the most. They want to see you better yourself. They want to see you really take steps forward to grow. And when you don't hear the nice, great, thoughtful things when you're asked for advice, it hurts a little bit. But in the long run, you're actually trying to help somebody. Now, most people that are in your life that are important, they're going to express those positive things to you, and that's amazing. And that is your support system. We talked about that a little bit when we talk about building confidence. You need to have a support system. You need to have people around you that are going to build you up. They're going to really support whatever it is that you're looking to do. Asking for advice or asking for their opinion, you take that specifically as something that's real. You don't want too many friends that are around you to say everything you want to hear. You want to really have some feedback and constructive criticism. You have to really dig down inside yourself and say, yeah, I have to hear this. And I have to put that together, and maybe that's an approach that I take, and maybe you don't agree with it. But again, going back to perspective, when you hear someone else's perspective, you take what they have, you gain knowledge, and then also you build a new perspective of your own self of what you should do going forward. Again, have gratitude for those people. Even though it's harsh, have gratitude for those people because they are there to support you. They love you. They want you to do great. Recently having, this conversation with a person, I'm so grateful for having the friends I have in my life and the people I can rely on. Because if I didn't have them, that support system wouldn't be there, and it would take away from my confidence. It would take away from me growing. It would take away from me doing a podcast. It would take away from me finding ways to push myself. I mean, it's the friends, the support that I have. Uh, I'm so appreciative of what I've gotten just in the comments alone from people. Uh, it's really, really heartfelt, and I have gratitude inside me, that emotion that I like to express appreciation for all of those of you that are listening, that constantly are reaching out to me, that are telling me that they love this. And it's just me being me. So again, anytime you want to hang out, I could always have a conversation with you forever because I like to talk. But the thing about it is that you guys are supportive, and it's helped me so much. I can think of several friends right now. I can think of my uncle who came up to me over the weekend. It's really something that is amazing to listen to, when you don't think that maybe people are affected by certain things, but when you feel that gratitude inside, you will have an appreciation. I will say, um, this concept of appreciation it goes back to one of my first podcasts, and it talks about how my son and I would find some way to make someone's day, and their appreciation for you. You could see the gratitude, the emotion on their faces when you give someone a compliment. You can see this idea of understanding that they needed that it guided them to build their confidence up, that they were so appreciative of what you had to say, and it was unexpected. And that's what I think everyone should do. I think everyone should be challenged to find a way to appreciate somebody every day, say thank you, or do a small gesture, or even something bigger. Find a way to appreciate what you have. We should be appreciative of our lives. That's the first thing. Just having this life, just having the ability to wake up every morning. We hear this a lot, but it's the truth. Be able to wake up. I'm appreciative of my health. I see it all around me, and I made sure it was a priority. I made sure it was a priority to be healthy, and I wasn't at one point in my life. And guess what? It's so important to me because my kids need me, because life is really, really short. And that goes to my next topic of time. If we are not appreciative of time, and we are not understanding that that's the single most precious thing in life is time. It's the one thing that we can't put a value on. It's one thing we can never put a value on. It's priceless. It is so often wasted that we forget its most valuable part of our life. The natural resource that can't be replaced or bought. So think about that statement. It is a natural resource that can't be replaced or bought. We put so much value on money, so much value on things, so much value on all this that is in our life that doesn't really matter. And the most important thing is time. And people can argue that point all you want, but realistically, I can't think of anything else that you can get back that you can't get back. Sorry. Time. Time with your family, experiences with spending that time with, so precious to us. And, just over the weekend, I got a chance to spend some time with a memorial service for my uncle with my family. I mean, those are the best moments I've had in my life, is to be able to sit with my family, go to grandma's house every Sunday, be able to sit and play with all my cousins and go outside. We'd play basketball on a wrestling mat with my uncle's house. We would do all the things together, firework fights. We were crazy, but we were young, and we had cousins and we had friends, and family was always close. Our family is probably one of the most extremely close families I've ever seen. And we have our arguments, we have our things, but we also understand gratitude, right? That we have them. I still hang out with my cousins. I still talk to my cousins. There's people in our lives that are important for a reason. Um, can't wait to get to Nashville with my cousins and my goddaughter. I can't wait for us to have more memories because that's who I want to spend my time with. There's several people in my life I want to spend my time with, and that's what I do. I make sure. Um, Time, it should be the one thing that makes us change when we're acting like an idiot or arguing or fighting with family, friends, loved ones. It's the one thing that is the ultimate judgment of worth. Say that again. It's the one thing that is the ultimate judgment of worth. Do I spend my time with you? Do I choose the little time I have on this earth with you? Or do I spend it doing something beneficial to me? Or do I waste it on things that don't matter, like arguments, like being right, or video games? And maybe that's something valuable to you and that you choose to spend your time doing entertainment. Entertainment is something everybody spends a lot of time on because we want to get through the stress of our lives. So we spend our time on that. But is that what we want to spend our time on? Or do we want to spend it with people, with experiences, with those people around us that give us that gratitude, that, appreciation just by having someone that cares about us? I'm not knocking entertainment. I think that I spend time on entertainment as well, but it's relationships that are more important. It's being near people that like to be near you and having a good time and a laugh and doing things that are fun, which also could be entertainment, right? So the idea is to understand, how do we spend our time? It's the ultimate judgment. And it's so interesting because every day you make that judgment on how you're going to spend your time. How do you allocate your time throughout the day? What's important to you? What's important to your career? What's important to your livelihood? What's important? How do you rate what is most important to spend your time, and with who? So I want to just reiterate that idea, that time will allow for emotions to enhance, to form a bond with people to connect to, time together, right? It also is something that you put forth to become better on yourself. What do you do, on your own to make sure that time is important? What is important to you that you do for yourself to build your kingdom? What's so important? And I think it's really interesting to think with the conversations I've had and how much wasted time we spend. How much wasted time we spend with people that we shouldn't be with, how much wasted time we spend with people we should be with, but we're too busy, choosing our own selfishness or arguments or things that exist that really aren't worth it. So we have those wasted moments of our life, and then we have moments that we really take in consideration and then we actually push forward. You know, I had a few conversations recently, and, you know, we talk a little bit about how do you spend your time. And, somebody said to me once, you're obsessed with the gym. You're obsessed with the gym. You're obsessed going to work out. And I said, I absolutely hate working out. I don't like going to the gym. I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to do all those things. But I will say this: I'm obsessed with results. I'm obsessed with staying consistent. I'm obsessed with the concept of, if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to match my actions. I'm obsessed with setting goals. I'm obsessed with the idea that I need to be healthy for my family. I've seen it happen to my family. I've seen it happen in my mom's situation. I've seen things happen. If you are not obsessed with trying to help your mental capacity or even your physical capacity, guess what? You're not going to be around much longer. And guess what? Time is affected. So I want to make sure you understand it all goes hand in hand. So when we start talking about time, why do I spend my time at the gym? I spend my time at the gym because I want to be very much in a position where I get more time. So I had this conversation just recently with someone close to me, and the conversation was this: I talked about how time is valuable and how important it is. And I said, someone says, well, why do you get up at 3:30 in the morning, go to the gym? I say, well, first I get up at 3:30 so I can be ready to be at the gym by 4:30. And when I get there, I put in the work, right? I put in the work. So by the time 6:30 rolls around, people are just waking up, and I've accomplished getting up, going to the gym for 2 hours, taking a shower, getting dressed, making my bed, and driving to work. So now I've accomplished more in my day than probably most people will throughout their day, or by 6:30 in the morning, I should say. So when I say that, why do I do that? I I've been up for 2 to 3 hours before everyone else has. Most people say you need 8 hours of sleep. That's great. I think your body does need sleep, but I believe that's 6 hours a day. Um, I believe that if you get 6 hours a day, then you're functional, and guess what happens? Instead of the instead of the 8 hours a day where you're living for 16 hours, you're sleeping for 8, you're living for 16 hours out of the day. Guess what? I'm living for 18 hours a day. I just added to my time on this earth and what I can do and what I can accomplish. And guess what? Add that up times 7 days a week, times, four weeks in a month, times 12 months in a year. I'm now adding on hours of my life. And I'm doing it where I'm healthy, and I'm doing it where I'm eating the right things. I'm doing it where I'm, functional and I'm moving. Yes, I hurt. Yes, my body hurts at times, and there's things that happen to me. I'm ran a marathon. I'm doing my best to do challenges for myself to help myself grow, because that's part of building your kingdom. Being healthy, being supportive for those people around you, but also showing appreciation for those around you. I mean, I never would have run that marathon without some help. I never would have gotten up and changed my life without seeing the positive in the situations that I've gone through. I never would have changed my life. And I know some people might think differently, and it's okay. I know who I am, and I know who I am now, and I stand strong for what my values are, my core values. And part of that is making sure that I don't waste time. And there's times where I do, and everybody will. But I'm so gracious for everybody that has helped me throughout my life, because we can't go through life without help. And so many of us, and some of you know who I'm talking to, they always feel like they can do everything on their own. You just can't. You need help. And I know it hurts because we want to do things on our own and we want to be accomplished, and that's fine. That's great. But we realistically cannot do everything on our own. And when you try to make everybody happy and you try to do things on your own, you know, you you hurt yourself. You hurt those around you in your kingdom sometimes. And it's great if you can accomplish, but it's also something that you have to come to realization of you need help. And that doesn't mean a lot. It just means you need some support. You need some people in your life. And we can't do this without. Um, just remember, when we start talking about this concept of time, it is calculated, it is weighed, it is distributed according to the importance of your core values. And that's how you guide how you spend your time. Your core values are guiding how you spend your time. It's so important to understand that as we go through life and we do mundane and we do the daily thing and we know we have responsibilities and we know we have things we have to get done, that we take time for ourselves, that we celebrate ourselves, that we have some fun, that we find the people to connect to, that we find the relationships, the conversations to have that are important. We show appreciation to those in our life that are literally the reason why you have this gratitude, that you feel good, that really invested in you, like some of you have with me. I'm so appreciative. But if you don't, you're taking a step back from yourself. It is a big part of life to show appreciation, and it definitely builds relationships. So I'm going to leave you with this. I want you guys to take a look at this quote and again, reflect on it. I try to leave you guys with a quote now. It says this: feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Think about that. I have gratitude and I don't express it. It's like me taking a present and wrapping it and then not giving it to someone. So I challenge you to go give that present to someone. Do it today. Tell somebody. Do it tomorrow. Do it once a week, do it every single day, whatever you can do. And I guarantee you, intrinsically, you will have a value that builds up this confidence inside you because you're going to feel great about yourself from just doing that act. But also, you're making someone else feel great about themselves, and that's amazing. So I'll leave you with that. This is the end of my podcast. This is podcast number, I don't know, 5 or so. So have a great week, and I will see you soon.